You guys know about Superman. There's other Kryptonians that are not Superman, like General Zod, who are also ridiculously strong under a yellow sun. He has the same abilities, similar, like heat vision, amazing strength to rip metal. He can withstand crazy force because his body's durable. He can defy gravity and fly. Like, I'm gonna let them explain it best to you. Like, they literally explain it about Zod, everything about him. Like any Kryptonian under the rays of a yellow sun, General Zod possesses superhuman abilities, flight, near invulnerability, heat vision, and other super enhanced senses, super strength, super speed, a cunning military strategist. Zod knows how to wield these newly acquired powers to wreak maximum carnage as a one-man weapon of mass destruction, which makes a lot of sense. Like, this page right here can give you an overview of General Zod to give you more of an understanding of his abilities and the fact that he's a great leader, strategist, tactician, you name it. It talks about here how he comes from a long line of distinguished military guild members, dating several generations. Even while young, Zod rose through the ranks, demonstrating the finest qualities of an officer and an unmatched dedication to the defense of Krypton. So yeah, he has all this raw strength, which you're going to see in this video, on top of fighting skills just in general. Like, the writers seem to not want him to be free. I mean, in every continuity, he's always in the fandom zone. They seem to always want to do things their way, but you know, him and his crew, they got to end up being in prison because they kind of take things too far at times. You guys know the same deal. But of course, he has to find ways to get out. Like, you know, Zod has to escape the Phantom Zone. Literally stated here, he has to escape it. He's the guy you want to call, tactically speaking, if he was a good guy, he would be a good military strategist for going to war against other planets or invasions or something. Like, he knows the best possible plans as possible. He's like literally a United States general, but as a Kryptonian. You know what I mean? One thing we can all agree that makes him kind of scary is the fact that, yeah, he has all this super strength thanks to the yellow sun and speed and stuff from the yellow sun, but he also can literally fight. He'll use things, or one could say this is a form of cheating. He used like a kryptonite knife because I guess he studied the weaknesses of Kryptonians. I mean, that's kind of smart, tactically speaking. He has similar strength to them, but him having a kryptonite knife would definitely even the odds. Like, imagine a Kryptonian that's not afraid to use kryptonite. There's like legit guns that can actually counter Kryptonians because it replicates the effects of a red sun for a short time. These super guns, they can really depower a Kryptonian for 30 freaking minutes, which is plenty of time to blitz somebody and murk them before they get their strength back. So these weapons are kind of dangerous. Like, you got occasions like this to give you an idea of that Zod can fight. Like, in occasions where he's not even powered up Kryptonian-wise, when he fights other beings that are Kryptonian-like, it seems he always has the advantage in hand-to-hand, like against Superboy here, for example. Like, he always emphasizes skill, aka not relying on strength too much. He emphasizes skill and precision to show that he's different from your standard Kryptonian that relies on strength. Like, you know you're a resilient human when you're not even powered up and Zod gets hit through this rock. Even confirmed here, he's depowered, but Zod doesn't care. You know, he really specializes in fighting skills. But yeah, let's talk about his strength, shall we? Like, in this occasion, you can see him ripping robot heads off, Brainiac robots. We can see him ripping throats out of them. He can use helicopters as weapons and throw them and hit you with it. I mean, this is standard Kryptonian stuff. He has the super strength to throw trucks and such. This is because of Zod. I mean, this should be like a no duh, but it's a clear indication that he can lift entire battleships that has to weigh even hundreds or even thousands, multiple thousands, hundreds of thousands of tons, depending on how you look at it. But are you really shocked he can lift thousands of tons or this kind of weight? This kind of stuff shouldn't be all that shocking when you realize what other Kryptonians have done. The real way to understand his strength is seeing how his strength matches with or how he locks arms with Superman himself. You can see right here that their muscles are literally clashing with one another. And it's just not easy for Superman just to easily push him off with super strength. I mean, matter of fact, there's even certain times where you can see him kind of getting an edge over Superman in raw muscle. I mean, guys, there's no need to really go over all this again, but we know Superman can lift boats, like similar stuff that we see Zod lift. Superman can lift this and Zod can overpower him. Zod overpowering Superman in muscle when we've seen Superman actually move. In this occasion, help with other powerhouses, planetoids, small planetoids like the moon. We've seen Superman and other powerhouses move structures like this, and even bigger structures than the moon, like the Earth. Even stated here that Superman can move the Earth. Superman's even stated he's pushed the planet out of orbit. If he can overpower Superman's muscle, and we know Superman can move moon-sized planetoids, wouldn't that by default mean that Zod can move moon-sized planetoids too with his muscle strength? And with the fact we know that Earth is bigger than the moon, wouldn't that also mean he can move Earth-sized structures too? Meaning that Zod can move the weight of planets? Would you agree that whatever your forearms can do, wouldn't you agree that your chest muscles are stronger, right? Wouldn't you say this applies for characters like Superman as well? Like, if his hand strength or grip strength is a certain strength, wouldn't you expect his triceps or back or bigger muscles on his body to be even stronger? Wouldn't you expect that, right? I'm bringing this up because this kind of lets you know how strong Zod is. competing with Superman in a contest of strength here to show that he's in his ballpark. And Superman was able to hold a mini black hole in his hand. His grip strength is this strong. This is probably more impressive than all that planet lifting stuff. Like his forearm strength contained something that was going to blow up the entire solar system. So you see all these planets, right? Superman had the grip strength in his grip, or just the palm of his hand had enough raw strength to keep something contained in his hand like this. That would have wiped out the entire solar system, a black hole in his hand. The pressure that had to be in his hands is crazy. With all this put in consideration, all these planets' destruction, or the force needed to wipe out all these planets, technically Zod would be able to compress that force in his bare grip as well, just like how Superman could. I mean, he literally has the same superpowers as Superman. We've seen him actually match his physical strength and muscle with his grip, and even push him and overpower him briefly. Wouldn't that in theory mean that Zod can contain something that has the raw force to destroy the solar system in the palm of his hand as well? Based on moments like this and this, I think there's clear writer intent. The writers want him to be somewhere in Superman's ballpark of strength. It just kind of makes sense. All this stuff applies to him on how hard he can hit too. I mean, we've seen him do this to Superman-centric type foes like Brainiac, tackle him here. Like, there's literally too many occasions of him fighting Superman give you writer intent on how strong he is. Even kicking him away here, literally hit Superman here. You know, during this Kryptonian invasion, we've seen him punch Superman so hard he's actually bleeding to show his punching power. If there was a real large gap in strength, the writers wouldn't have him doing this, or giving Superman this much trouble, grip-wise, beating him down, clearly affecting him with kicks, punches, and everything to show he can hit hard, even bruising him up. You got statements like this when they're to a slugfest, like they talk about narration, as our skin splits, so does this earth. I mean, guys, let's be honest. Like, I know this didn't necessarily imply they can destroy Earth with this narration, but if he's fighting a guy that can hold a black hole in his hands, something that was going to wipe out the solar system, I think it's fair to say Zod could definitely destroy the Earth. Even though this was a little vague of a narration, let's be honest, he can definitely destroy the Earth with his punches, without a doubt. Let's not be delusional here. If he can slugfest it with a being that can hold solar system shattering stuff in their hands, what do you think their punches or their bigger muscles in their body can do? You know, like, it doesn't seem like muscles is the only thing that they match each other in. We see Zod and Superman's eye beams or heat vision match each other. I mean, if his punches can do this to Superman, you got to remember some of the crazy explosions that Superman has withstood. I mean, because something that is 50 times stronger than a normal sun explosion, or one could say supernova explosion, like narrated here, the explosion was about 50 times the size of a Kepler supernova, and he got hit at the speed of light, and Superman is able to withstand this kind of stuff. And you guys know how small the Earth is compared to the sun. You guys know where I'm going with this. General Zod's punches should be far past Earth-shattering level if Superman he's a match for can withstand stuff like this. You get the idea. He's hit in the face by Superman. Here as well, gets hit by him and recovers. Like, there's too much writer intent. Like, he's literally getting hit and slugfesting with him too much to not be in his ballpark of strength and power and just punching power. I'm talking about explosions that actually destroy entire planets. Even if he's right basically next to it, he can withstand such impacts. Matching Superman this much is impressive, considering that certain Green Lanterns, especially Kyle Rayner, for example, one of the higher end Green Lanterns that's ridiculously strong, Kyle Rayner has some strong constructs or blasts, and Superman, we know he can like break his constructs and walk through his blast. Like, we literally see him walking through his blast. I want you guys to remember that Kyle has actually made constructs that were strong enough. See, like, okay, here's Kyle. Let me give you an example of Kyle Rayner. There was energy taken from the destruction of entire galaxies, multiple galaxies, entire galaxies. Let that sink in. And there's Green Lanterns like this that can contain energies that can wipe out multiple galaxies. And we know Superman literally can overpower Green Lanterns. That's consistent and it's clear writer intent. This would also make Zod look more impressive considering how much he can match Superman. Same powers and abilities and everything. That would not only prove that Zod has to be in them ranges of raw power to be able to at least tremble multiple solar systems, but when it comes to his punching power being comparable to Superman's, even if Superman has the edge, he can't be far off. This would also imply a lot for Zod's fist or punching power. There's a great chance he could walk through those blasts of Kyle Rayner too. And we know Green Lanterns can contain energies that can blow away multiple galaxies or the destruction of energies of multiple galaxies. Like literally stated here, energy taken from the destruction of galaxies. And when this being blew up, like this Imperial X probe, for example, he blew up, Green Lantern was able to contain such energy. There's implications that his punching power could even be harder than this when it comes to multiple galaxy destruction type of force. Because you guys remember Superman's rival, Captain Marvel. You see where I'm going with this. Because, you know, there's narration that states, you know, Captain Marvel, back in the day when he was called Captain Marvel, he's currently called Shazam. Him and Lobo was fighting and their hits were apparently rocking the cosmos. I would have thought statements like this was an exaggeration if there wasn't like writer intent behind Shazam's strength or Captain Marvel's strength to have the power of the deities. One of the beings that he's powered up by is this being known as Atlas. See, in Greek mythology, there's like these myth feats like they add in DC Comics. Like there seems to be certain feats they add for these myth type characters in DC Comics that seems to be a constant theme. Like this is in Rebirth right here, but also in old comics. In post-crisis days, pre-crisis days, like it just seems like there's a common theme of Atlas being able to hold the weight of the sky, immeasurable type weights, the power that Shazam has, and we know Superman be matching Shazam. And this is who Superman's a constant rival for. This would also imply Zod has to be in that ballpark of power of having the punching power to rock the cosmos. Like I'm talking about tremble it, like literally shake it with his punching power, but the limits of them are really unknown. But what do you guys think? Do you respect General Zod? I mean, I look at it like this. Anybody that has heat vision that's so strong that other Kryptonians get blown away from the collateral of their heat blast clashing, I would say he definitely has to be somewhere in his ballpark with the top tier Kryptonians. But all of this madness could be just me. He's basically Superman that's a dictator that has martial arts abilities and is not afraid to use guns and even cheat code weapons during this fight. But before I get going, everybody, I got to say a quick thanks to the donators. You probably didn't know Zod was this much of a menace. You might have did, you might have didn't. Respect his might still. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.